Hi, welcome to another RAS Consulting success story. Today we're in Alexandria, Virginia, at the offices of Oblon Spivak, one of the nation's most prestigious patent and intellectual property law firms. Jay Nidich, Director of Operations, was charged with reducing costs in their high-volume copying operation.
Our situation was with a lot of copying, a lot of faxing, a lot of paper being generated. We have approximately 29 copiers that we use in the building, and it is an enormous expense when you consider the leases and the cost of paper and the cost of the technology to maintain them. And it is an ongoing need that just does not diminish. And where we were at, we were with a company for a long time that we used their copiers and their service. And it had gone well, but it was time to relook at the environment and see what was out there. And there was a recognition that as much as you know as a generalist about a lot of things, and in my position I have to know something about construction and real estate and insurance and copiers and faxes, there's no way that I can know the details of any one of those particular expertises. And so I felt that the best thing that we could do to really leverage the marketplace was to bring in somebody who was an expert, who had the history and had the knowledge, and that's why we decided that Richard was the man for us.
Although Jay would have been able to handle the rigors of the RFP and the selection of the right vendor, he shared his thoughts on why he looked for help.
I think the most important thing is getting back to that, recognizing what you don't know, and recognizing and finding the people that do know the answers to that and bringing that force to bear and making your decision and working the process, because it is a process. You just don't go out and say, to 2 or 3 different companies, give me your best bet. It's a matter of having them, being able to write the RFP, being able to demonstrate that you understand the customer, what the customer's needs are, where they've been, but also where they're going, and utilizing that to create that RFP, being able to present that, answer the questions of the vendors, and then manage the competition so that you're getting value, so that you're not getting smoke and mirrors, that you're getting a factual product that will really work for you and work for you down the road.
As he reached out for a consultant, he shared his selection process.
Well, one of the things that we did is we looked at references, because that's really important. Again, it's a matter of, in looking at who you're going to use for your expert, you can go out and start at the beginning and do all of the research and go out there and try to figure it out. But obviously using, references and different organizations that had used different consultants was a key endeavor. And I think that in looking at Richard, it was really a matter of getting down to, does he know the field? Does he have the expertise? Does he understand the technology? Does he understand, the current environment in terms of pricing? And ultimately, between the references, recommendations, and talking with Richard and other consultants and making that decision, we found that he really had the complete package that was going to make this work for us.
Once RAS was selected, the work began. There were many factors at play: an incumbent vendor who was favored by a team member. Also in the mix were a myriad of technology changes.
He really understood the field, but not just where copiers had been historically, but from a technological point of view, where the industry was going. He was capable and sensitive enough in looking at what our needs were, how we used copiers, and he understood the pricing. He knew, the different companies. He had a really good holistic picture of the industry, which is what we were looking for.
Jay was seeking a number of positive outcomes: the right equipment, the flexibility, and a significant savings.
When we started this project, we were hoping for, I would guess, maybe a 20 to 25% reduction, which I thought was a little bit aggressive. That one of the people on our team was really happy with the prior vendor and really had a close relationship with them, and felt there was a lot of loyalty there, and had talked to them, and they had really made us feel that that they were doing well by us. But I was pushing for more, and I figured, okay, I'll push 20, 25%, and if we get 10, 15, 20%, we'll be doing well. We ended up with a 50% reduction in our cost, and it was much better than I had expected. And if we had tried to do this on our own, my lay expectations without knowing the market, and again, I probably would have done some research, but here, with the time constraints and everything, I had Richard, who knew the market, was able to put on the pressure. All of these vendors, there was no way to fool Richard. And when the competition really, hit the tracks and they had to deal with Richard and compete with each other, that's where the money started changing to where a 50% reduction was just an amazing reduction for us. And it really paid great dividends, financially. But at the same time, because we made a value-based decision, we got a product that worked for us and has continued to work for us over the years.
We were curious to learn of the personal benefits Jay received through the savings and our RFP process.
Everybody wants to look good in what they're doing. And using Richard will help you look good. That's what he did for me. In the end, when I was able to go to the managing partner and say, I have cut our costs by 50%, then I'm looking good. There's a pat on the back. That's good for job security. That's good for sending a message to everybody. I don't think that's the ultimate goal, but certainly those kinds of tangible rewards, I think they add a little value to the whole process, and it certainly made me feel good to be able to bring that kind of success, that kind of savings back to the firm. Every year when I have an annual review and I'm talking to the managing partner about what's going on, these are the kinds of things that come up, the kinds of savings that you're able to get year after year after year. And this was a really big savings, and Richard was the one that helped do it. So it's good for the firm, it's good for me, it's good for the department. All across the board, it was a real asset.
So in summary, the combination of Oblon Spivak's partnership approach and the skills we brought to the table result in a very successful project. Jay shared his final thoughts.
The essence of what I can say about Richard is when we needed somebody the second time around, I didn't go out and look for anybody else. I had a proven entity, that somebody who had demonstrated to me that he was customer conscious, that he was industry aware, that he was sensitive to the needs of the finances and the technology, and that he was going to work with us in a very personalized way, tailored to our needs, tailored to the industry as it is today, in a forward-looking way. And I think that he proved it the first time. And that's why we brought him back the second time, and it worked for us the second time as well.
Thank you for listening to one of our satisfied customers. At RAS Consulting, this is our goal on every one of our projects: your satisfaction and asking us back to help you again the next time around. Thanks again for listening.